was the end of the chapter, map leveling. So you have to level a map, or you have to provide information about the map through the audio. Okay, let me just explain what this map leveling is. You will be listening for directions. You will be listening for information in a map, and you have to fill some information in a map which is not complete. So for an example, we have a map here. We'll see example in detail with proper drawing. Don't worry about that. I'm just showing you here. We have a map here of a place. We have some buildings, and there are some missing answers. You know, this is number 11, this is number 12, and you'll be listening to an audio. Now in the audio, you'll be having, in the exam, you'll be having options. Now choose these options, which one is fitting to which one, 11 or 12, using the direction they are providing in the audio. This is how you level a map. Okay, it's not that difficult for a reason, because I guess after practice it gets easier. But originally it's not that difficult because you don't have to read much in this kind of question. If it is getting difficult for you, definitely you are missing the technical part of the question. That means you're not using the right tip or right technique. Once you go through this video, it will definitely get easier. Trust me, compared to the last time. Okay. Now there are two types in listening for the maps. Right, the first one is when we have question in the image, and second one is when we have question outside the image. What is the meaning of this? Let me show you an example. Here, if you look, we have question in the image. 14th is the number of question. 15th, 13th, 12th, 11, all are number of question. Here, options are outside the image, as you can see here. So you'll be listening in audio and try to fit which one is correct for 11th. Either A to I, again for 12. So the person who is here will be talking first about, oh, we are standing at the entrance, and then when we go straight, we on the left comes, let's say, multimedia room. So the answer for 11 is F. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying exactly that's the answer. Now, if we look at the just opposite, we have a computer room. So we have computers here, number C. That's how they're going to play the audio. I'm going to show you a real example. Don't worry about that. This is just to show you what are the types in this kind of question. First one is question in the image, right? Why do we have to do this? Understanding the types, we'll see later. Second one is question outside the image. Now we have taken the same image. What if 11th is here, 12th is here, 13th is here, 14th is here? We don't have this all, okay? And we have here A, B, C, D, E. Now think about it. Questions are outside, options are inside. The difference between these will be, now let's go back to the previous one. When I'm playing the audio, you must be knowing by now, if you're listening to all the classes, that audio always plays in the sequence of the question, not the options. So what's going to happen? I'm going to play from 11 to 12. I'm going to give information from 11 to 12, and then 12 to 13, 13 to 14. I can talk about fiction and seminar room, but I can never go to 15 without talking about 14th. You understand my point? 14th to 15th, like this. It will always go in the sequence. However, in the case of here, that is outside the image, the sequence will be followed from here because questions are here. So this might get a little bit difficult because let's say I talk about art collection, which is here, and suddenly I jump to here. Or I could jump here after that because there's no sequence following in the image. However, it is there in here, outside the image. So if you get this kind of question, you are lucky. If you get this kind of question, well, it's fine. After practice and understanding some tips, you can get it done. Now, let's see some examples so that you can get accustomed to the question type. This is the example which you have seen earlier, but definitely the answer I provided you is not the correct one. I just guessed it to make you understand. So don't just write F there, all right? Good. I'm going to play the audio so that you can go through it. Good luck.
You will hear the librarian of a new town library talking to a group of people who are visiting the library.
Okay, everyone. So, here we are at the entrance to the town library. My name is Anne, and I'm the chief librarian here, and you'll usually find me at the desk just by the main entrance here. So, I'd like to tell you a bit about the way the library is organised and what you'll find where. And you should all have a plan in front of you. Well, as you see, my desk is just on your right as you go in. And opposite this, the first room on your left has an excellent collection of reference books and is also a place where people can read or study peacefully. Just beyond the librarian's desk on the right is a room where we have up-to-date periodicals such as newspapers and magazines. And this room also has a photocopier, in case you want to copy any of the articles. If you carry straight on, you'll come into a large room, and this is the main library area. There is fiction in the shelves on the left and non-fiction materials on your right, and on the shelves on the far wall there is an excellent collection of books relating to local history. We're hoping to add a section on local tourist attractions too later in the year. Through the far door in the library, just past the fiction shelves, is a seminar room, and that can be booked for meetings or talks. And next door to that is the children's library, which has a good collection of stories and picture books for the under 11s. Then there's a large room to the right of the library area. That's the multimedia collection, where you can borrow DVDs and so on. And we also have CD-ROMs you can borrow to use on your computer at home. It was originally the art collection, but that's been moved to another building. And that's about it. Oh, there's also the library office on the left of the librarian's desk. OK. Now, does anyone have any questions? Yes, thank you, sir.
All right, so we are back here. Let's see the answers. Yeah, I hope you're ready with your book and your answers after listening to the audio. So the answer for the first one, which is 11th, is H. Well, pretty far from what we guessed. Reference book. For 12th, we have G, which is periodicals. 13th is D, which is local history collection. Please don't write full answer as the answer, just write the option. Option is correct. 14th is B, children's books. And 15th is F, which is multimedia. Okay, this is 15th. So I hope you got all correct answer. If you didn't, go through the instructions or pointers and do similar examples and see how it helped you. Okay, let's see the pointers or the tips that can help you to go through this question. Tips in here are very important for a reason. Most of the people are missing this kind of answer or are missing this kind of question type because they understand English, but they might not be understanding the directions itself. So let's see. First of all, never ever miss the origin or the starting point. It is very important. Without that, you might not even know where the audio started. So this is where we started talking about, and we have a whole image here. If we don't recognize where the starting point is, where are we gonna go? I don't know, we'll miss here, we'll jump there or here, and it's all messed up. I have seen people starting their listening in maps, and when they start, if they miss this point, they get almost 5 to 6 incorrect out of 7. The reason is they don't know what is coming next. Okay, so let's take an example here. If the audio is being played from here, you should be knowing. What if the audio starts from, all right, we are at the librarian's desk. You should be knowing. Pay close attention to the initial part. That's really important. Okay. Now the second one is most common mistake is people don't follow. People don't follow the instructions. Instead, they look at the picture. What do you mean by looking at the picture is they don't even put a pencil or their finger at the paper or the screen. What they do is they just look at it as if they have visual memory. They don't. So please use a pointer to follow the image. Let me show you an example. So earlier we have seen the audio, but we'll create our own audio to make it clear. I'll keep my finger like this. So we are at the entrance. Once we enter inside, on the right side we have librarian's desk. But when we go on the left side, we have the reference books. Great. Proceeding, if we go straight, we have librarian area. But below it, on the right side, we have something else. See, how did we follow the whole instruction? And we never missed a point. But if I'm looking, I might miss one thing. And in maps, if you miss one single point, you miss everything. So I suggest you please follow the audio using a pointer. Now a pointer can be a pencil, can be a pen. I suggest pencil though, or could be a finger as well, right? That like I have to just pointer. As soon as I find the answer, I stop, write the answer, and again the pointer continues. So I would suggest instead of just looking at the eyes, use a pointer. Now, what if there are no blanks? Let's say for an example here. There's no answer here. There's no question here. So you might think this is not important. It is really important. The reason for it to be important is to follow the sequence. So for the 13th, I went to here. I went here, and then from here, I went seminar room, and then here. Now see, close to fiction and seminar room, there's nothing. Still, if I don't follow, I might not find this answer as well as this answer. That's the reason I always follow both of them, everything. So these are the landmarks or the information which is important. You should be reading these as well. Okay. As I said, and this same thing came up, that is landmarks. Landmarks are like guiding points for us in images. Right. Keep an eye on the landmark and you will find your way. So the audio is being played not with keeping just the direction in mind. They'll say the close by landmarks or the information points. We call them landmarks in images. For example, we enter on the right side, we have librarian desk. Now you got a reference. Oh, they're talking about this. But the opposite of that is something. You see, reference is important. If you go straight to the line, we get to library area. Oh, they're talking about this point. And we see, look at the right of it, we get non-fiction. If you look at the left of it, we get fiction. But if you go going straight, we find the point. Now look, they use 1, 2, and 3 references in order to provide one answer. And this is what I mean by following the landmarks. Okay, that's going to help you to find the answer easily. Cool. Next one is basic vocabulary related to vocabulary. Basic direction related to vocabulary. I was just focusing on vocabulary and I said it twice. Sorry for that. See, most of us don't go through basic vocabulary because as a non-native speakers, I just need left, right, straight, and up and down. That's it. While finding direction. Rarely we go through cross and go along. So this is the vocabulary. What I want you to do is stop here and just copy all of them and see how they're used. If you don't want this, all you can do is see there's a vocabulary course also created which we have provided you. You can look into it and all of them are explained in detail. Okay, see, go straight, turn left, go past, that means we go cross, all cross, go along with something, right? Around the corner, between, behind, turn back, go back, same way. Now, what I mean by this, I'll give you an example, okay? So when you go to something like this on a road, in between we have some kind of statue. Now, I want to go here and I'm here. In our language, we'll just go straight. Don't worry about the building in between. Just go around anywhere straight. This is not how instructions are being provided. They'll say, go straight on the roundabout or at the roundabout, take the second exit. So this is the first exit. This is the second exit. And this is how the Google Map uses the instructions. But because we never use these instructions in everyday life, what happens? We don't understand them in the audio as well, and we get stuck. It's important to understand these kind of words while we are going through this kind of question. Okay, good. So lastly, we have confusion with directions. What I mean by confusion with directions, biggest confusion actually are east, west, north, and south. While we are in a hurry, we are listening to an audio, we might think of east as west, or we might not be able to point out. Okay, my logic says is use your country's map. For an example, look at India itself. We have north here. If north is here, automatically on the right it's east, on the west, on this side is west. So if north is here, definitely east is here, west is here, south is here. You must be knowing your country as well. Keep your country's map in your mind and you will never make a mistake in west or east. Right now, stand here where you're standing and visualize your country's map. So think of your country's map in your mind. And where you're standing, you just find one direction. Rest is all gonna get easier for you, right? Good. So that is how we're gonna do, okay? In this chapter, we're gonna see flowcharts. This kind of question actually is interesting due to its diagram as well as blanks in it. And this is still listening module. All right. Now what happens in flowchart is, let me show you an example here. There is kind of a flow where information is there in a sequence, right? So there's a diagram where we have a box where we provide information, and with an arrow, it shows the direction of the information. So I'll say there's a process being described in the form of an image. I drew this image. We have an arrow showing the direction of the information. I provide a blank here that will be filled while listening to the audio. This is what flowchart is. Information in a sequence. Okay. Now this generally comes up in section 2 and 3. Hence, it can be a little bit difficult or can be easy, relatively compared to the third one. I would still call it in the medium category, not as difficult as multiple choice questions, not as easy as blanks. It's kind of okay, all right? Now, let's see an example to get a better idea of what I just described initially or try to describe. Now, look at this. See, there's something called diagram or title of the flowchart, that is session outline. The first step itself talks about project topic. Then we have tutorial structure. You see there's a sequence being maintained, and this is what we call flowchart. I'm going to play the audio and your task is to find the answer number 21, 22, 23 and 24. All right, get ready. Good luck.
Section 3. You will hear a conversation between a peer tutor and an engineering student who needs help with a project. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 24.
Hi, John. Thanks for seeing me today. I'm really struggling with my project. I have to come up with a design for a water treatment system, and I'm really not sure what I'm expected to do.
Well, as peer tutors, we've been taught to follow a process in these tutorials, okay? The first step is to look closely at the task instructions.
That sounds good. I'm also... well, we've been told to do some research, but I don't know where to start.
It's always hard to start with. We've got about 45 minutes today. That should give us some time to go over it. Have you done much research before?
No. This is my first project like this, and I'm really stressing out about it. I went to a seminar about research at the start of the year, but I've forgotten most of it.
Well, that's fine, because the next step in our tutorial will be to consider some common research strategies that you can use to get started. With engineering, a lot of the projects you do are practical, so you can think about how you can access other people's write-ups of similar projects.
Yes, that sounds useful. How do I find those?
Well, there's always the online databases, but you need to know what search terms to use. So, can you think of any useful terms?
Cameroon, I guess? And maybe grey water?
Yes, good. But those might not give you many hits. What about the type of research? I've always found it helpful to search for case studies, you know? There's probably a whole lot of those on systems set up for other villages in developing countries that you could look at. I've got a couple here actually. They're on different topics, but we can look at the structure and develop some useful ways to focus your research. Is there anything else you'd like to look at today?
I can't think of anything right now. That all sounds good.
Great. Then the next step is to come up with an action plan. How long have you got?
To finish the project? 4 weeks, I think. It's due on the 6th.
Great, we are back, and I hope you got all of them correct. Now we're going to see the answer, and you can check your own answers as well in your book. The first one, which is number 21st, is task instructions. Second one is strategies. Third is case studies, and fourth is action plan. Now check in your book if you got all of them correct. If you have made a spelling mistake, keep it as incorrect for now. If you have not included S, also incorrect. It has to be exactly the same. Now if I have included task instructions instead of just instructions, it's correct because it is provided no more than 2 words in the instructions. So I think it's fine, right? Not a problem. If it was provided no more than 1 word, then task instructions, this answer will be incorrect. You have to just say instructions. Okay, cool. After that, we have to see the pointers. Pointers, as I said, are the tips and tricks that are going to help you to get the answers correct easily. All right. The first one is definitely headings. Headings, or something we call title, going to provide you with information about what the flowchart is. Let's see an example here itself so that it gets clear to you. See, that helps you to understand the flowchart, right? So we have a flowchart here in which we have instructions like this. Flow like this, arrow is going down. On the top, there must be a title. This title is going to help you to understand the flowchart. In the example which we did, we have something called session outline. So when in the audio, I'm talking about session outline, definitely we have to, pay attention to it. This is how we should understand that what can we expect from that answer. Let's say for an example, steps to create some kind of chemical. That means we have to listen for steps only for chemical. So the title or the heading is important. There are subheadings as well, like project topics, step 1, step 2, or tutorial structure. Also important because they're going to help you to keep as, landmark or pointer where you have to reach and then proceed. All right. The next one is the sequence. It's obviously clear by now, if you have been going through it, that sequence is most important for you to understand here, right? In this question, it is even more important for a reason. There are arrows, right? These arrows are indicating from one process to another. And if this is not the sequence, then what is, right? Let's see an example. We have here first step. Definitely we have to go to the next step. And next step is about what? Tutorial structure. That means this is the step 1. Then we go to the next step. What is it about? About the research. Hence, sequence is always maintained in audios and even in the flowchart. They're not going to be talking about this first, and then go back to step 1 and then come to step 3. It's not possible. What they're going to do is talk about this first and then next one, and then, the same way the order will be maintained. Okay, cool. You have to do one more thing. You have to follow the speaker even if there are no blanks in the sequence. What I mean by no blanks, again, the example. If you look at the first statement, then there's no question here, right? Project topic, design a water treatment system. They're going to talk about it. There are no blanks. You should pay attention to it. The reason is you shouldn't be doing this. I mean, you should be doing it because I don't want you to miss the track or lose the track of the audio. Let's say you found the answer for the 21st one and you found the answer for the 22nd one. Now, I understand you want to get the answer of 23rd one, but there's information between the 22nd and 23rd. You should also read this information to understand, oh, this information is over. Hence, I can go to the next one after that. What if you don't read this? You will be confused. So even if there are no questions in any statement, it's important that you read them. You follow the sequence. Okay? Just for your benefit so that you don't lose track in this kind of question, that is flowchart. Cool. The next one is predicting the answer. This has been similar to many of the other questions we have, where the question is blank based, like summary completion, sentence completion, flowchart completion is this one. So we have to predict based on the blank. Now, if you look at the 21st one, go over something. It could be a wall, it could be some kind of shape, some kind of thing. You have to go over something. Think about research what? Research something, research topic, research opinion, whatever it is. Right. Same way you can think of the last one. Develop an something. Or see, another hint they have provided us is this N. So definitely it's going to start with either sounding as a vowel or with a vowel. Okay. So this is predicting the answer. And see, as I said, N, it must be starting with a vowel or sounding as a vowel. That's why it's called action plan. See? Second one, go over something, that is instructions. So all of the answers are making sense according to the one or two words before the blank. You see, research strategies, an action plan. So there you go. Predicting an answer will help you before you even listen to the audio in the 30-second time you're provided before the question being played. So they're going to say you have 30 seconds to read the question 21 to 24. Then you can read the questions, underline the important things that are 2 to 3 words before the blanks and predict the answer. Okay, good. The last one is similar pointers. What is the meaning of similar pointers? We have described pointers from earlier question, under earlier types of question, for example, sentence completion, or let's say MCQs, where we have talked about a number of words. We have talked about many things like quick reading, or let's say speed reading. All these pointers will be applicable to this kind of question as well. I just didn't want to repeat those like 10 times. So I already repeated them most of the time, but here you should go back and watch the video. If you have watched the video and you want to revise, wonderful. That will help you to understand the previous question as well as this question. Yes, so please go back, watch video number 9, 10, 11. You will get all the pointers clear and you will be able to solve this question even quicker. Okay, great then. Now, as I said, following mainly about sentence completion will finish most of the pointers, because it has all the word count information about how to find blanks, because these are blanks more or less, right? If we look at flowchart, we have sentences in boxes, but they are blanks. They are sentence completion with sequence, isn't it? So that way you can take pointers from sentence completion and find the answer for this kind of question. All right, great. And that will be the end of the